Is it even possible to think that Roma could actually sign Federico Chiesa, a player who is, in my opinion, the most impactful Italian national team player? If we think back to the Euro of 2021, man, he was so lights out, incredible. The X factor in that team. He and Spinazzola are the two main reasons why Italy got as far as they did, why they were able to win the gold. So yeah, he's a player I would love. If there's any somewhat even in the realm of realistic target that I could see Roma sign, he's at the very top of that list. And before I get to, I guess, the point of this episode, which is how Roma could actually sign Chiesa, Operation Federico, is who else would be that one more? What add in the extra player here? Roma signed Chiesa. They do something which is remarkable. Then who is that other player? And I asked this to my WhatsApp group through the YouTube channel. You can join it if you'd like. Just leave a comment as well, and I'll post the link for you there. Who's the other player with Chiesa that you would love to join? And a few people said like Matt Compea, Bellanova. And I agree with that from Torino. I think he's a great right back. He's someone who would really help this team. Karsdorp and Salik, they're probably on their way out. But how could this actually work out where Roma signed? Yes, so let's go through this article that I read today from ForzaRoma. It starts off, they say we need a treasure, and that could only be put together by putting together all of these departures. Start with Karsdorp. He's going to bring in 4, maybe 5 million euros with his sale. Then it goes on to say an accommodation will have to be found for Gallo Bellotti, who may have a similar or slightly higher rating than that. I think maybe like 6 or 7. Yeah, that's fair. 7 the most. That's on the high end for Bellotti. Then it says still a little bit more complicated is to get any type of money from Sobak, and maybe he could be going to Malmo in Sweden. But his salary is going to be a bit of an issue. Then there is Shomorodov. I'm not sure where the Uzbekistani forward lands at this season, going into next season, I should say. Is it at the bottom of Serie A? Is it a bottom 5 team? Is it even in Serie B? I'm not so sure, but I don't see anything above 7. I think is I don't really know. I don't think that's gonna really happen. He could very well go back to Cagliari, who are going to also fight for relegation going into next season. The writer then says consider about 3 to 4 million from both. So I mentioned maybe a little bit more. Then says Zalewski and Awar. He says they don't have an important value on the market, but the Pole is still young and has value. I think Zalewski's value has to be at least 10, maybe up to 15 million euros. But Roma will try to capitalize him. Do I see that happening? Maybe for a player like Chiesa, I think that they would sacrifice Zalewski. Award, I think he probably goes back somewhere in France. And then the next paragraph goes on to him. It says the Franco-Algerian has a more international dimension, has great prestige in France, can be usable in Ligue 1. The Giallorossi could obtain around 15 million from both. I don't think that Awad would gain 15 million euros. I think he's more like a 10, even down to 8, maybe 7. So consider that he was brought in on a free transfer, so it's nothing but plus Valenza. So then you get about 30 million euros. You add all of them in. Then you also have the addition of Darboe, who could go back to Sampdoria permanently. Smalling, whose salary will be cut. And Abraham, who I think is going to end up probably somewhere at the bottom 8 of the EPL. Throw in teams like Everton. I saw a link for Leicester's City today. That seems to be like a reasonable accommodation for him. And I'm just going to read through now the last 2 paragraphs, what they said here. Federico Chiesa's price tag can hardly be valued at more than 30 million, considering the contract expiring in a year and Juve's difficulties in renewing. As regards the salary, however, which at Juventus exceeds 5 million euros, Roma can free up resources by selling the players from which to obtain this treasure, and obviously from players such as Renato Sanchez and Lukaku, meaning that Roma will not be paying those salaries. So, in a sense, they're saving. Certainly, focusing on Chiesa would entail a significant sacrifice for the Capitoline coffers, fancy wording there, especially considering the number of new signings that De Rossi needs. That is at least 4 starters from the fullbacks to the attacker, or indeed the attacking fullbacks, as well as another box-to-box midfielder. Speaking of that, I was looking at Matteo Prati today, who to me reminds me of De Rossi incarnate. Really interesting player there, speaking of Cagliari. All right, so just a few minutes. I want you to leave a comment, please, a like and a subscription if you're new and you're checking this out. I want to know your opinion. Is Chiesa possible? Should we stop dreaming? Is this just something to get us by? We're bored and we're fantasizing. I think it's a little bit more than that. I think this is a serious possibility, I should say, and a deal that I hope Roma get over the line come the end of August. I'm looking at a player who can have a seriously, once again, influential Euro tournament coming up in just 9 days. Is Italy doing all that good right now? No, come on, they're just getting they're just learning how to walk right now together. Spalletti, I think, will have them come together. They'll be strong, and Chiesa will be a major component of any success that the Azzurri is to have. Talk to you guys soon. Ciao.